The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting group. Access Fort Wayne is a department of the Allen County Public Library. If you or anyone you know might be interested in making a television show, please call 260-421-1250.
Hi, welcome to the Kachmann Mind, Body, Spirit Show. This show today can be very, very informational for you because it's about how to be healthy and avoid all diseases. And it's the dietary guidelines for Americans. Recently, the federal government came out and took our food pyramid and flipped it upside down. But they flipped it into my direction. That's what I've been teaching for years. So I've kind of been celebrating this, and the pyramid is right here. You can actually get it online on your computer too, but you can watch this show a couple of times. This is extremely important, how to be healthy. And what you're going to find out today will amaze you. So let's get on the road. Let's get on the road. And a message from the secretaries: welcome to the Dietary Guidelines of America, 2025-2030. The government just put these out. It was done by our Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Secretary of Health and Human Services, and they flipped it in my direction. It wasn't because they found out what I knew. No, it's the way it happened. Let's take advantage of it, okay? So let me start reading it to you a little bit here. These guidelines mark the most significant reset of federal nutrition policy in our nation's history. Wow. Wow. Yes, they've been teaching it wrong. They had to literally take the food pyramid you recommend and go like this to it. But it was in my direction. And so the message is simple. Eat real food. And I have some other books I'll hold up for you that you can look at. To make America healthy again, of course, that's what I've been trying to do for the last 30, 40 years. You just go to YouTube, Kachmann. I've got 1,000 TV shows in there about how to get healthy. But now it's a lot simpler, okay? To make America healthy again, we must return to the basics. American households must prioritize diets built on whole, nutrient-dense foods, protein, dairy, vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, and I will educate you all about that. And whole grains paired with dramatic reduction in highly processed foods laden with refined carbohydrates, added sugars, excess sodium, unhealthy fats, and chemical additives. This approach can change the health trajectory for so many Americans. Yeah, let's face it, 80% of the Americans are eating an unhealthy diet. That's because they've been teaching it to them wrong since they were little children. But we're changing that today. We're changing that today. The United States is amid a health emergency. Think about that. What I've been saying all the time on these shows. Nearly 90% of healthcare spending goes to treating people who have chronic diseases. It's even worse than they say here because, and you can look it up on the internet to double check it if you don't believe me, type 2 diabetes, which is what my main aim has been, you can see it on my previous shows, has associated with it type 2 diabetes, which has been my main focus. You know that from looking at my shows, has associated with it 57 chronic diseases. 57. Check the internet, you don't believe me. That's true. But we have the knowledge on how to prevent it and reverse it. And this is what we're all about today. Many of these illnesses are not genetic and destined. It's not because you get bad genes. It's because you've been eating the wrong food. That's not your fault. They've been teaching that way in the schools, industry, hospitals are bribing the industry around. They're not teaching it to you. Many of these illnesses are not genetic destiny. They are a predictable result of the standard American diet. It needs to change, but it has been changed. They flipped the pyramid, and it has been changed. And you can look at these foods on here and see it very well. So many of these illnesses are not genetic. They're a predictable result of the standard American diet, a diet which over time has become reliant on highly processed foods coupled with a sedentary lifestyle. But the food is the majority of it. These consequences have been devastating. More than 70% of American adults are overweight or obese. Look around, look around. We're not being critical. They didn't know. It's not the food they were being fed in the schools and the restaurants. And nearly 1 out of 3 American adolescents, younger people, between the ages of 12 and 17, have prediabetes. I don't even call it prediabetes. I call it diabetes. They have not been checking the serum insulins. If they check that, they are elevated 10 to 15 years before the blood sugar ever goes up. So we're diagnosing diabetes much too late. Your HbA1c, your blood sugar over 30 days is not elevated till you've had prediabetes, which I told you is not prediabetes. It's diabetes. Your body is getting the diseases. You don't have any symptoms, but 50% of the heart attacks, no warning. People grab their chest and they die because they've had changes in their body, okay? So diet-driven chronic diseases now disqualify large numbers of young Americans from military service, undermining national readiness, and cutting off historic pathway to opportunity and upward mobility. Their life is being affected. No, you're too sick. You can't join the service. No, we're not going to hire you because you look too sick. I can avoid all that for you. Okay? That's the good news. For decades, federal incentives has prompted low-quality, highly processed foods and pharmaceutical interventions instead of prevention. Same in my med school. Yes, same in my med school. I even offered to teach what I'm teaching today there, and they never called back. And they now are building a building in front of one of the major hospital systems in our area, and the hospital is educating them. But I'm educating you today, okay? This crisis is a result of poor policy choices, inadequate nutrition research, and lack of coordination across federal, state, local partners. We know that. That's why they had to take this pyramid and just turn it around. And here it is. Look at it, that healthy one. And This changes today for many of you. We are realigning our food system to support American farmers, ranchers, and companies who grow and produce real food. And we're not picking politics here, but here they were correct. The Trump administration is working to ensure all families can afford it. I don't know. You'll have to double check that. We are putting real food back at the center of the American diet. Real food that nourishes the body, real food that restores health, real food that fuels energy, encourages movement and exercise. But the food is the main thing. Real food that builds strength. And there are many other books which you can look at in the real food, what to eat and why. Good book to read. Another one involving more children, Real Food for Mother and Baby. Also an excellent book, and I'll talk more about it. So these guidelines call on every American to eat more real food right out of the ground, and that's what I'll be teaching you. They call on farmers, ranchers, healthcare professionals, insurers, educators, community leaders, industry, and lawmakers across all levels of government to join in this effort. The government officials have to step up to bat. Many don't. Together we can shift our food system away from chronic disease toward nutrient density, nourishment, resilience, and long-term health. That's what I'm doing today. So that's the reason for the name of the show. And I'm giving you the information to read about it. America's future depends on what we grow, what we serve, and what we choose to eat. So I'm going to educate you on what you should be asking for. This is the foundation that will make America healthy again. This is what I'm doing. And what's wonderful about this is what I've been teaching for years. But finally, they flipped. The pyramid was done by the government. And we have to give Robert Kennedy Jr., Secretary of Health, and Brooke Rollins, Secretary of Agriculture, we have to give them some credit here, okay? So let's talk about a little bit about the type of food we're talking about. Eat the right amount for you, okay. You may be 6'6", and myself 5'7". That's going to be a difference on the amount. So it kind of depends on that. So pay attention to the portion sizes, okay? Now this is a big one. This is what I'm trying to teach you today. Prioritize protein foods at every meal. Protein. Actually, we don't have need for carbohydrates. And this is very interesting. And I'm going to, a lot of people don't understand that, but I'm going to read you something. Even frankly, I didn't, not aware of that. The great news is that human beings have zero requirement for carbohydrates in their diet. Zero. Wow. Yet, but nature has sort of, over thousands and thousands of years, where everything was seasonal and people could get away with that. But now it's available all the time. And we do need a small amount of blood sugar about a teaspoonful. Yes. Yes, in the whole body, and we can make it ourselves from protein and fat. Protein and fat are essential, but not carbohydrates. Interesting. Isn't that interesting? This is why humans have survived periods of starvation, because there were times it was not available. So they had to store their body and get overweight so they could live off the fat. Okay, but that's not our problem today. That is why humans have survived periods of starvation. It is false that we need carbohydrates or sugar for energy. We don't need it. And the problem is in most of society today, we're addicted to sugar. Yes. Probably 80% of the people are sugar addicts. And this, I highly encourage you to get this book, Fork in the Road, at the library. Probably used copies, 2 or 3 books. You go to Amazon Books, and there'll be a new copy, $15, and a used copy for 2 or 3, and I've sent for them, and they generally look as good as the brand new ones. But I'd rather have you have this book, because this book addresses addiction to sugar. Most of us are addicted to sugar, but this explains the science of it all, websites, etc., and how to get to them, and also this is by Jen Unwin and her husband David. They're from England. Yes, these 2 Unwins are teaching a healthy way of eating all over the world. And they teach it the way we teach it, the way the pyramid twisted. That's what they teach. They taught it before that occurred. But I know them very well, and I know them personally. I think they are the world's health experts, and they have a lot of websites on there how to get rid of addiction and recovery resources. Also, their websites. You will know more than anybody if you look. So I'd like you to get this book. You can get it at the library. You can get a PDF, but I prefer that you have this book. So, essential nutrients for life and health are protein and fat. They have all the vitamins and minerals that you need to have a healthy life. I thought I'd bring this up so that you might consider getting it. So we talk about the right amount of food, depending a little bit on your size. Prioritize protein foods at every meal. Prioritize high-quality, nutrient-dense protein and foods as part of a healthy dietary program. Consume a variety of protein foods from animal sources, including eggs, poultry, seafood, red meat, as well as a variety of plant sources. Where humans are omnivores, we need some things from plants, we need some things from meat. Yes, we are omnivores. Swap deep-fried cooking methods with baked, broiled, roasted, stir-fried, grilled cooking methods. Okay? Consume meat with no or limited added sugars. Remember, we have no need for carbohydrates. So the meat shouldn't have any carbohydrates or starches with it. And if you need to flavor it, use some spices, herbs, salt. Protein servings, 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram, okay? And body weight per day, adjusting as needed based on your individual requirements. That depends on your size. Consume dairy. Yes, I've in the past always recommend no dairy. I don't think, because people have a lot of allergies and allergy reactions. Some have anaphylactic reaction, and they die once they drink it. Well, milk does have some value, and you'll see it on the pyramid that is near the top. So milk is important. When consuming dairy, include full-fat dairy with no added sugars. Dairy is an excellent source of protein, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals. So that's pretty important. And it's good that you have another look at the pyramid, and you see on the top there's cheese and milk and meat. Yes, that's part of the food pyramid. So your gut contains trillions of bacteria and other microorganisms called the microbiome. A healthy diet supports a well-balanced microbiome. Highly processed foods can disrupt this. So you go to a fast food restaurant, you will disrupt that. But healthy diet supports a well-balanced microbiome. Healthy digestion, highly processed foods can disrupt this balance, while vegetables, fruits, fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, and high fiber foods support a diverse microbiome, which is beneficial to your health. Interesting. Am I giving you too much information? No, that's the reason this TV show tonight, yes, the one we're doing right now, will be on YouTube by midnight tonight, so you can watch this again, so you don't get too much information in one night. So eat vegetables and fruits through the day. Eat a variety of colorful, nutrient-dense vegetables and fruits. Eat whole vegetables and fruits in their original form. Wash thoroughly prior to eating. Frozen, dried, or canned vegetables or fruits. Look at the labels. Make sure they don't have a lot of sugar in them. 100% fruit or vegetable juice should be consumed in limited portions. Eat the orange. That'll be with the fiber, very healthy. But if you drink the juice, it's full of sugar. So eat the original fruit. Vegetables and fruits serving goals for 2,000 calorie dietary pattern. Vegetables, 3 servings per day. Fruits, 2 servings per day. But again, look at the pyramid and see where it's located. And incorporate healthy fats. Now, here's some really important information. Healthy fats are plentiful in many whole foods, such as meats, poultry, eggs. You see them at the top here. See them at the top. Healthy fats are plentiful in many whole foods, such as meats, poultry, eggs, omega-3 seafood, nuts, seeds, full-fat dairy, olives, avocados. Avocados are full of omega-3 good fats. So in the morning myself, my first meal, I'm 2 meals a day, which you've heard me talk about before, but that I'll have an egg, good protein, okay, and guacamole, an avocado, some bacon. So I'm eating good fats, good proteins. Focus on whole grains. Prioritize fiber-rich whole grains. And significantly reduce consumption of highly processed refined carbohydrates such as white bread, ready to eat, or packaged breakfast options, and crackers. So they should be minimal. And limit highly processed foods, added sugars, refined carbohydrates. Let me teach you a little bit about that. Avoid highly processed, packaged, prepared, ready to eat, or other foods that are salty or sweet, chips, cookies, candies. Eliminate them. Limit foods and beverages that include artificial flavors, petroleum-based dyes, artificial preservatives. Avoid sugar-sweetened beverages, sodas, energy drinks. They are full of sugar, and they're not located on this food pyramid. So while no amount of added sugars or nutritive sweetness is recommended or considered to be part of a healthy or nutritious diet, pretty important. When selecting snack foods, added sugar limits should follow nutrient density rules. So this is very limit alcohol beverages. Consume less alcohol, the better. I used to think drinking 2 or 3 glasses of wine a week was okay, but I begin to think it doesn't work out. And more they're saying no alcohol, because that is digested first by the liver, and so that's pretty important. And children need to be treated a little differently. But let me tell you a little bit more about what's the best diet for humans to follow. Humans are omnivores, yes, plants and proteins. We need to eat meat and vegetables, both. We are not natural vegetarians. No traditional culture is vegan. Yes. Our culture, millions of years ago, was largely a meat eating. Yes. We are meant to eat everything from leaves and fruit to meat and eggs. Our anatomy is hybrid of the herbivore and carnivore, the vegetable eater and the meat eater. We are a combination. With flat, this is instinct, this is really the proof of it, with flat molars, back of the mouth, like mine are, where we chew our vegetables. Proof. And sharp teeth up front to tear into meat. Yes. Look on YouTube, Kachmann teeth. There's a 1-hour show on teeth. Very important to learn about teeth, that you know to brush your teeth at least twice a day. Yes. And sugar destroy teeth. To tear into meat, we have the sharp teeth up front. Our digestive tract is neither very short, like a dog, or very long, like a cow, but somewhat in between, all over the world. Omnivores, meat eaters, yes, and vegetable eaters eat different foods. Depends what's available. Fish on the coast, beef on the range. For about 3 million years, we ate mostly animal foods as a percentage of calories, much more than even today. We were more carnivores millions of years ago. Our brain is not only big, okay, but also ravenous, being 16 times more energy than muscle by weight. Isn't that interesting? The brain is 60% fat, half is DHA, found mainly in fish. Mm-hmm. The fat coats the nerves. The nerves, on the surface of the nerves, fat is used, omega-3 fat. So it's very important. Like rubber insulation. So what is real food? Let's talk about real food. Real food is old and it's traditional. Paleolithic is Stone Age food. Neolithic, since we started farming about 10,000 years ago. So hunting and gathering of fish is Stone Age food. Okay. We've been eating beef, venison for a very long time, at least 1 to 2 million years. Yes. Fish and fowl a little more recent. We are cultivated. What are cultivated foods? The ones we make: wheat, rice, beans, things made from them, which we eat, bread, drink wine, drink beer, are most recent. Dairy has been around maybe about 30,000 years. The natural diet of cattle is grass, not corn or soybeans. Fresh milk consumption is probably 30,000 years old. To consume milk, that makes a sugar called lactose, and you have to have the enzyme called lactase. And as we get older, we don't make that lactase. So if I drink a milk product or even have some yogurt, for example, my stomach gets upset. And that's because when babies consume the milk only from the breast, they had much more of the enzyme, and the enzyme goes down as we get older. So imitation is a hallmark of industrial food. So industry tries to imitate some of these, and you have to be able to determine what is real food, what is the original food. I think I've given you a bit of a lesson here. So let's talk a little bit more about real food. Remember, I want you eating real food, food that has not been changed by industry. So here's some myths, some visual myths. And our primate cousins are vegetarians. No. The truth, all primates eat some animal fat and protein. We eat more to feed our big brains. Interesting. Myth, we are natural herbivores. Incorrect. I know of people that are. And I spoke to one recently who is eating only vegetables, but found that her blood test checking the health or abnormals. And I spoke to her a few days ago, and she is very resistant to changing the way that she eats. Remember what I said? We humans are omnivores, eat vegetables and meat, instinct. Myth, historically, we ate less meat. Historically, we were even more carnivores than today. We ate more meat than we're eating today years ago, so that's incorrect. Myth, we don't need animal protein. Omnivores need complete protein every day, although a small amount will do. We need, and I read that to you before. Myth, plant protein is as good as animal protein. Now here's a big one. This is what the people who eat many plants, and I speak to a person who otherwise was healthy, but she was going to become pregnant and have a baby in the near future. And if you eat only protein, the baby may be too small or abnormal or even be asymmetrical and be very different. So it's important as to what the mother is eating even before she's pregnant, because it changes the genetic structure of the baby as well as the husband. But once it's in the uterus, the child is totally dependent on what the mother's eating. She's drinking a lot of alcohol. She's destroying the brain of the baby. She could be taking drugs that all affect the baby depending what month of pregnancy that they're in. So she can determine whether the baby is born abnormal or small or underweight or overweight. Depends on the mother's way of eating. And then if she is eating real food, a baby will much more likely to be normal. And this is well described in the book, which I'm going to refer to in a minute, this real food. Remember, I'm talking about real food, okay? And here's a myth important to know. The myth is soybeans contain complete proteins. Soybeans contain all the amino acids, but not enough, except one, methionine. It doesn't have that. So plant protein is as good as animal protein. Plant protein, even when combined to provide all the amino acids, is inferior to the protein in meat, fish, dairy, and eggs. You're learning a lot. You are learning a lot. So let's get a little bit on this book here by Nina Planck, Planck. A good book to read. You can also get in the library, get a used copy on Amazon. Remember, look for used copy, because I was speaking to a church recently of about 20 diabetics, and I knew about this trick, used copy, $3. So I bought 25 copies for $3. Not a big cost to me. And recently I was walking down the street, and the lady walks up to me, Dr. Kachmann, I lost 30 pounds, and my diabetes went away. I'm not surprised, but she was elated, and remember what I said. Type 2 diabetes will cause 57 chronic illnesses, which you can totally prevent and 90% reversed if you eat right. Learn to eat right like we're showing you today. So let's look at this book of real food, and that is food that has been raised without added chemicals to it. And milk can be a little bit of a problem because when a cow has a calf, generally they're immediately injected with a growth hormone to make it grow quicker. And then they put other hormones in the cow because they now put the cow in a cage. And they do that so the cow will produce more milk. Yes. So you got to be careful. Are you drinking real milk? Or are you drinking milk that has been changed with all these hormonal injections? Isn't that interesting? A lot of people don't realize that. So there's a little controversy there. So real milk. Real milk is from grass-fed cows, cows that fed on the grass. The natural diet of cows is forage, grass, hay, and other roughage. Industrial cows, see that cows that are present one next to each other in these farms are fed on corn and soy and never go outside. So you want cows that are feeding off the original foods on the ground, that they're not from factory farms where they're next to each other, penned in, don't move, and they can feed them non-healthy foods. Like on this pyramid, you're looking at foods off the bottom, largely grains. So real milk comes from cows that are not treated with hormones. Remember what I said? Most cows today are injected with a growth hormone so they produce more milk. Some cows are given the recombinant bovine growth hormones, I spoke about that, to boost milk production. This milk contains higher levels of IGF-1 and insulin-like hormone, which is identified in cows and humans. IGF-1 causes cells to proliferate and is linked to cancer. Yes. So to avoid that, you want to drink milk, the original, real thing. Real milk is raw. Pasteurization is heat treatment to get rid of some bacteria. It's used to kill pathogens in milk. Unfortunately, it also destroys a host of nutrients, including folic acid. And this is found in milk, vitamin A, B6, and C. Vitamins that you need to go properly and be healthy. Heat inactivates the enzymes required to absorb nutrients in milk. What you wanna is the real product. So let's continue on the road here a little bit and speak a little bit about children, which I mentioned to you, to the dietary guidelines. In infancy and early childhood, birth to 4 years, for the first 6 months of life, feed your baby only breast milk. When breast milk is not available, feed your baby iron-fortified infant formula. Continue breastfeeding as long as mutually desired by the mother and child for 2 years or beyond. That's the healthiest thing you do for the baby, because breast milk has all the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals in it that your baby needs. If feeding or supplementing your baby with infant formula, stop feeding your baby infant formula at 12 months of age and give them whole milk. All breastfed infants, as well as infants who consume less than 32 ounces of infant formula per day, should receive an oral vitamin D supplement. It's complicated. You got to read these things. Some infants require iron supplementation. Talk with your healthcare provider about iron supplementation. But also remember that a lot of this information, your provider may not know it. So you need to educate yourself. This is what I'm doing. At about 6 months of age, infants may begin to have solid foods. It is crucial to continue breastfeeding or formula feeding while solids are introduced. Breast milk or infant formula continues to be the main source of nutrition for your infant up to 12 months of age. If your infant is at high risk of allergies, you need to deal with that. And introduce potentially allergenic foods, including nut butters, eggs, shellfish, wheat, with other complementary foods at about 6 months. Infants should receive a diverse range of nutrient-dense foods in appropriate texture while avoiding nutrient-poor and highly processed foods. Examples of nutrient-dense foods to introduce during the complementary feeding period: meat, poultry, seafood, vegetables and fruits, full-fat yogurt, cheese, whole grains. Avoid adding sugars during infancy and childhood. Partly, I say, because they are not necessary for good health. You could turn your child into a sugar addict. Also, I encourage you to look at YouTube, Kachmann, water, so you learn about water. Children especially need more water. We as adults need water. I drink a bottle first thing in the morning, one in the evening, and while I'm eating, depending on your size, how much you need. But water is much more important. It is the most important chemical in your body is water. Yes. To be honest with you, I didn't know that. In med school, they taught me that drugs were the most important thing. No, they're not. Water is the most important chemical. So, introducing food to infants and toddlers. So every child is different. When they sit up alone or with support, can control the head and neck, try to grab small objects such as toys, bring objects to their mouth. I'm trying to tell you when to start teaching a child what to eat. So in middle childhood, 5 to 10, focus on whole nutrient-dense foods, such as protein foods, dairy, vegetables, fruits, healthy fats. Full-fat dairy products are important for children to help meet energy needs and support brain development. Avoid caffeinated beverages. Don't give coffee to your kid. Incidentally, coffee is dehydrating. When I have a cup of coffee in the morning, to get rid of the breakdown products, it will excrete more water than the coffee you drink. If you want more water in your body, drink water. Coffee isn't going to do it. Make cooking meals fun and a regular part of the household routine. And adolescents, 11 to 18 years, these are rapid growth periods. And the brain generally is not fully developed till about age 25. Adolescence is a rapid growth period with increased needs for energy, protein, calcium, iron, especially for girls due to menstruation. So adequate calcium and vitamin D are vital for peak bone mass. Adolescents should eat nutrient-dense foods such as dairy, leafy greens, iron-rich animal foods, while significantly limiting sugary drinks and energy drinks. We spoke about this before. Encourage adolescents to become active participants in food shopping and cooking so they learn how to make healthy food choices for life. I think it's very important. And young adulthood follow the dietary guidelines, which we spoke about, because they support optimal health during this period, including reducing risk of progression of chronic disease, supporting other aspects of good health. And the brain is continuing to grow in young adulthood, as we mentioned before. Some older adults, which I might be an example, I'll be 90 in a month, but no illness, okay, weigh 130 pounds today, take only one pill, vitamin M. Someone asked me recently, what's vitamin M? Music. When you get up in the morning, sing a song. It will get your endorphins going, your feel-good hormones that your body has plenty of. You need to stimulate them with music, singing, exercise, looking at the universe. And older adults need fewer calories. Okay. I notice I only eat half the plate of food usually, but still require equal or greater amounts of key nutrients. We still need the nutrients: protein, vitamin B12, vitamin D, calcium. To meet these needs, they should prioritize nutrient-dense foods: dairy, meats, seafood, eggs, legumes, whole plant foods, vegetables, fruit, whole grain, nuts, and seeds. When dietary intake or absorption is insufficient, fortified foods or supplements may be needed. We have no way of storing some of these things. But as you get a day older, it's pretty darn important what you're eating, and that you consume enough water, because every day, and get your blood work checked, and then they take immediate corrective action. So I try to tell you in these dietary guidelines for Americans that the government switched the pyramid upside down. And the previous 5 years, more than that, because I've been at it for a long time. And what this dietary guidelines from this flip, I would try to get this, and it explains it in the back, and maybe get a copy for every family member. You can print it off the internet, and you can see it obviously in front of you. Let's look this over a little bit. At the top, we get meat with fat in it, the right fat, good fats, some cheese, chicken, carrots, broccoli, peas, cucumbers, avocados, eggs, and we work our way down at the bottom, and we have whole grains, and that bowl you're sitting there is full of pasta. Pasta is eggs, water, and some whole grain wheat. So that's the reason at the bottom of the pyramid, you don't want to eat that as often. Pasta tastes good, but the wheat has in some sugars, and you don't need that. And you see that bowl sitting, looking at it, on the side opposite the bananas, has in it a popular dish down south, which is a rice. Rice is mainly sugar, so I don't recommend that you have that, especially if you have sugar addiction. And I think it is very important, if you were going to buy any book, this Fork in the Road by Jen and David Unwin, I would get that one. Yeah. Another book I recommend that I don't have a copy here is Simply Keto by Susan Ryan. What I like about that book, and you've seen it on my other shows, you can go to YouTube, Kachmann, keto, she'll show up. It is that she describes what is good fatty food, non-fatty food, for about 60, 70 pages. She explains it, lists them all for you, and then the rest of the book, and she is in there 3 meals a day. I think it's fine, but if you want to prevent or reverse something quicker, go to 2 meals like I do. We don't need to eat breakfast. That's an invention by industry. Millions of years ago, people didn't eat breakfast. It wasn't always available. And if you're eating the keto way, your blood sugar goes down, and the insulin that shoves sugar into the cells, that goes down. Fat cells open up, fat comes out, goes to the liver, and is converted to ketones. Ketones are small fat molecules versus sugar molecules, which are bigger. But the keto molecules, your heart loves them, your kidney loves them, the brain loves them. So to go into keto metabolism is a great way to quickly change the way your body is operating. So I encourage you to get this book here, okay? Because if you're addicted to sugar, which most of us are, if you were to lay a donut in front of me, in spite of all I know, I might just grab it based on evolution. But tremendous, and there's also some recipes in here. So Simply Keto, Susan Ryan, this book, and what I spoke to you today is the Dietary Guidelines for Americans. And I would like you to get this book and the explanation in the back of it. You can get it. You can probably get that online if you just were to say Dietary Guidelines for Americans. It may just pop up and increase your knowledge. And if you ate this way, eat real food, okay? Even, especially with little children, you'll probably live to be 100. Remember, I'll be 90 in a month. And play pickleball with me, or dance, or sing songs. But thank you so much for listening to this show. But this is the answer: Dietary Guidelines for Americans. That is your answer. Put it on your refrigerator. Teach it to your children. I do this because I love you, care about you. Thanks for watching this show. Bye-bye.